This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Steph, and I am taking over Tuesdays. Rob gave me his channel, and I am taking it. And today I want to talk about all of the games I learned in April 2020. So I played like 50 new games. Most of them were not really great. So I'll only talk about my top 10 favorite games that I learned in April. If you're interested in knowing what I have played, I posted a blog the other day on BGG, and it runs down all of the games and what I ranked them. And so it was a bunch. I learned a lot in April, so it was exciting. I love learning new games. And coming in at number 10 is Chimere. This is a game nobody's ever heard of, I'm pretty sure, which is a shame because it was actually pretty good. I think it was like a French edition, published in France. I'm not even sure the publisher, but it's not well known, unfortunately. And what you're doing is you are grabbing tiles and putting them out on these little like boards that you have, and you're creating these chimeras, which are made up animals, quote unquote animals, made up of 3 different parts of other animals, and you're trying to make different sets to form groupings of like colors. Basically there's goals. You want green and red, you want blue and yellow, an animal that likes purple and blue, or whatever the color combination may be, and you're going to try and create animals that have the most of these symbols so you can gain the reward of these tiles. And so it's a kind of a fast game because you're filling in your board, but you can also at the same time fill in other people's boards. So if you see a tile you don't like, well, you just give it to them. And so you're doing this, so you want to do it quickly because you want to get the good tiles for yourself and not get stuck with people's tiles that they give you. And so after that happens, there's a timer, and you flip it over, and during that time, you'll get to rearrange your animals however you want among the board. So you get a chance to rearrange these animals a little bit and make the best combinations that you can. And you play over several rounds, and it's simple and fun and really beautiful. The colors are amazing, and it's simple. It's just really great. I quite enjoyed it. So that was a surprise hit for me. Coming in at number 10 for April 2020. Coming in at number 9 is Trainotopia. I think Trainotopia from Board and Dice, and this is a new drafting and tile placement game where you are basically laying tiles to create networks of trains. Now, you want to have a station at the beginning and the end of a track. You don't need it, but you get more points if you do have it. And each round you're going to be drafting some number of tiles and meeples. On your turn there's a selection in the middle of the table, and you'll take one thing. If you take a meeple of a sort, you're going to score it immediately depending on the track you place it on and how many different terrains that match that little person. So if I think they're called commuters. If the commuter wants to get off at the yellow stations, how many yellow terrains are they going to pass through on this route that you've created? So ideally you get a whole bunch of good routes to score lots of points with these meeples that you're collecting. At the end of the game, you're going to have an end scoring card, so you want to try and work towards that as well. And just little points here and there, and you're just trying to make the best map to score these points as possible. It's very light, it's easy, and I enjoyed it. I like drafting, I like tile placement, and it just works for me. Also, coming in at number 8, from Board and Dice, Escape Tales Low Memory. Low Memory is the second game, I believe, in the Escape Tales universe. It's not exactly like The Awakening at all. The Awakening was the first game in the series, and it had a pretty dark theme throughout. This one I haven't played fully yet. It's longer, so I couldn't just do it in one sitting, and you're doing it kind of in sections. And so I've only played like the intro and the first section. And it's really good. There are lots of puzzles to explore, lots of different things you get to solve and explore. So it totally immerses you. However, the story isn't as great as the first one. But it was still enough to be in my top 10 favorite games of the year because of those puzzles that are just, I want to feel clever when I play escape games. And this game makes me feel clever. I'm like, I figured it out. Awesome. So if you're into the escape type games, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. Coming in at number 7 is Queens, To Be or Not To Be. And this is a fairly abstract and tile drafting game again. So there's going to be this gardener who walks around the board, and on your turn, wherever he's landed, you get to take from that column or row. And you're drafting these little types of flowers to your personal supply. So you could take one tile with a bee on it, one or more bees on it, or you could take two of any tiles that aren't bees, or you could take 3 different colored tiles without any bees. And so you're adding them to your supply, which can hold 6. Once you have 5 or more, once you have enough, you can draft one of the polyomino garden tiles and plant all of the flowers to fill up that tile. And you can put your beehives there, and beehives will score for surrounding bees. So if you have a lot of bees, you want to make sure to get a beehive to gain those points at the end of the game. But when you play a garden tile to your own tableau, you are going to score points based on the colors and adjacency of the colors already on your board. So there's lots of things that you're scoring for, and you just want to make sure you plan it all out really well. And it's very light and, abstract, beautiful production. So this one I really enjoyed. I would recommend it. It's definitely lighter, kind of family-ish, so anybody can really play this one, which is great. Number 6 was a huge surprise for me. It is a 2-player roll and write game called Paper, Roll, and Write. It is a game that was designed specifically for quarantine, the quarantine everybody's doing these days, and it's wonderful. So because of the pandemic and everything, this game was created for us. Somebody will play the role of Pooh, P-O-O-H, capital P-O-O-H, and it stands for something, but it's Pooh. And somebody will play the role of basically the factories that make toilet paper, right? So what's cool about this game is there's one town that you start with, and the other player starts with another town. Each round, you're going to be switching boards. So the abilities I've used on this board, I haven't used on this board, so I can use them again on this board. But ideally, I am trying to, if I am the factory, I am trying to make the toilet paper fast enough to supply it to the stores. And if I do that, if I can do that 5 times before Pooh is able to menace the towns and drive up a track to make everybody unhappy, then the corporation will win. Otherwise, if Pooh just can visit all the stores and take all the toilet paper, that will increase the track to the end, and then they will win. So they're trying to menace us and steal all the toilet paper. Well, I was trying to support the stores and make the toilet paper happen and all this stuff. So there's a lot going on for a very quick 2-player roll and write game, but it was really entertaining, and different strategies are going to happen no matter what side you're on. So it was really, really cool. And it's a print and play, now available on BGG, so you can go and print it and play it yourself. Paper, Roll, and Write. Check it out. Coming in at number 5 was also a surprise to me because I wasn't a big fan of Pandemic, but this game is called Pandemic Iberia. Now, because of, quarantine and all the stuff that's happening, I figured I should probably give Pandemic a try. So we played the Pandemic Iberia edition, and it was really fun. It's beautiful production. You can use railroads, and there's boats and different things, and we didn't have an easy go of it, but we did win, because I was the nurse and I had a really cool power that could block locations depending on where I had a target, and so that was helpful for sure. But it was quite a challenge, and I really enjoyed the experience. So who knows? Maybe Pandemic Legacy is in my future. I have yet to play it, so I don't know. It's thematic to the times, right? So I should probably give it a go. Number 4 is Mini Express. Now this is a game currently, or was currently on Kickstarter really recently. I think it still is. And you can play it on Tabletop Simulator, which I played several times. I do have a copy, a prototype copy, but it plays better with more players. So having that access on Tabletop Simulator is really nice because I could bring friends in and we could play multiplayer because you want to have that interaction. So what happens in Mini Express is that you are going to either be laying track and increasing your influence in those different locations that you place your track on, and then, or you're going to simply grab a share. Now, if you grab a share and there's available track in that location, you're going to have to spend your influence. So it's a managing situations. If there's an opportunity to grab a share without spending influence, you take it. And by doing that, you're going to drop more tracks into that location on the board, so people can start building that track again. So it's kind of like a give and take. You want to buy the shares when it's cheap, but you also want to lay the track to gain the influence. And all the while, the tracks that you're laying will gain like a reputation or whatever, and then you'll score based on how far that reputation is at the end of the game. So there's a lot of things to consider, but it's really easy to play and teach. And so I think it's really definitely streamlined and will be a big hit among so many people. And so I definitely enjoyed that one and would recommend it. Number 3 is not a surprise to me at all because I love the Harry Potter Hogwarts battle. And so when Toy Story Obstacles and Adventures was announced, I was like, yes! So excited because I love Toy Story. I love the game of Harry Potter, deck building game. And so it takes the mechanics of the Harry Potter game and basically puts it into a Toy Story theme. It is a little bit easier because Toy Story is, a kid's kind of theme. So it can be good for families because it's an easier intro to deck building. Harry Potter was already pretty easy, but this is a little bit easier and nicer at the beginning. I've only played a couple games. I'm trying to savor it, so I want to just have a good time with that. So I haven't just plowed through it just like that. But it's been really great and so much fun. It makes me want to go to Disney World and go on all the Toy Story rides. You have to play the soundtrack too. So the Toy Story soundtrack when you play, because it brings you in. It's just like the fun toy music. I love it, love it. So definitely recommend that. If you like cooperative deck building games, that is a good one to check out. Number 2, I played this for the first time on Tabletopia, and it's called Takeover. Oh, I think it's like Obelisks of the Sun. I forget the second half of that part, but Takeover. It's the new tea game from Board and Dice, and there's dice drafting, and it's heavy and thinky and so much to do and so little time, and one of those really big games that takes 3 hours to play. And so, love it. It's really great, and one that I will want to definitely explore further, especially when it's available in the summer. So I've played 3 times and I'm still like, I want to do this one strategy and I never get what I need, or I never focus enough or something, and I haven't succeeded at making it happen. So I get like pulled to one direction. So I need to just try and explore different opportunities and see how I do. But it's a lot to explore. I love dice drafting. There's a lot of really cool mechanics. So it's definitely one to check out if you like Teotihuacan, which also is amazing. So yeah, that's really great. Number 1, my most favorite game of April 2020 was Planet Unknown. Now this is also on Kickstarter, And I've played it a whole bunch on Tabletop Simulator, so if this interests you, you can go play it on Tabletop Simulator. I got a prototype production here that I got to play 2-player, a couple games of that. But I've also brought in my friends and we played it online once I learned it. So it's really great. It's a drafting tile game, but the tiles are on this like lazy Susan, and on your turn you're going to rotate it to a section of the board that you want to take a tile from. And so you draft the top tile off the stack and you'll place it on your board. But at the same time, everybody else is going to be drafting from their section of the boards, and they have to deal with that. And so every time you draft a tile, you're going to advance on these different tracks. And they give you like cool bonuses like civilization or technologies or terrain tiles or rover movement. So rover movement will allow you to put a rover on the board and start moving that little car around to clean up the different asteroids and the meteors that are on the planet, and the life pods that are there. And you'll get different points depending on what you're doing. And there's even asymmetric abilities, which are awesome. And they seem totally OP every time. You know, I've played now twice with these different player boards, and it's really great. I love exploring the different like strategies that are provided based on the corporations that you are playing, and so I really like that. Totally up my alley. Tile placement, drafting. I love these kinds of games, and so you're managing tech and civilization stuff, and it's just so much fun. And it's not that hard. It's really not that hard to teach and play. So. If that sounds like something for you, you can check out the Kickstarter and play it on Tabletop Simulator. So much fun! And that was my rundown for April 2020 of my top 10 favorite games that I got to learn in April. So, awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I am Steph. Catch me next week.
The game, and you could get this from Miniature Market, right, Grandpa?
You can get this from Miniature Market. That's right.
Yeah, everything you need. Bye.